All right, so it looks like we're going to be re-recording this video, which might be nice because I rambled quite a bit in the first version of it that nobody will ever see. But today, what I want to talk about is the idea of quitting a hobby or quitting a thing that you're doing because it's hard versus quitting or stopping doing something that no longer provides value to you. So let's jump into the idea of if you are struggling and you are doing something, whether it's school or sports or the gym or whatever it might be. I want to talk about it because I don't want to be known as a quitter, right? Like for me, like deep inside of myself, I want to be able to accomplish the hard things. I want to be able to do something that's difficult, but provides value for me. And doing difficult things, I think, makes us better every single day. But let's jump into an example about where I'm at, and hopefully that can give you guys some ideas as well. So I like to make YouTube videos, right? I like to be creative. I like making YouTube videos. I like the whole dynamic of YouTube, and I've liked the dynamic of YouTube for a very long time. Now, I've never been extremely successful on YouTube, right? Like I've had several channels and I've done multiple things, and I've never really like been able to accomplish exactly what I want to do. Now, I've gotten some videos with six-figure numbers, right? But at the end of the day, you know, and so there is some accomplishments that I have done, and I've worked really, really hard on YouTube. But I started with gaming. I think like if we look at a hobby as a whole, I think we have to understand, or with a future of, I want to be into stocks, I want to invest in this, I want to do whatever it is. I think we have to understand our why first, right? And I think a lot of people maybe struggle with the why, right? I think a lot of people, including myself, might struggle with the what are our values, right? So what are we, right? Who are we? What are we? What do we want to accomplish in life first? And what drives us every single day? And if you don't know that, and you're kind of struggling with the idea of like, I don't really know why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because I've always done it this way, and I'm always going like in this direction, and I don't really know why, there's so many questions. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I want to achieve with this. Ultimately tells us, number one, that we have a lot of work to do. We have to think through things. And I think that's one big aspect of this channel is that I want to use this as a time to reflect and as a time to grow, to help others out as well. So I think we have to understand our value. I think we have to understand what makes us tick, to understand certain hobbies. With YouTube, going at it, it's like, okay, well, my goal is, and my values right now is that I'm creative and I like to make videos. Okay, so that helps us with the idea that we're going to continue to make videos. That's why I've done multiple channels. I've learned a lot of things. I've talked to a lot of other successful YouTubers, and I've gotten some insight. But number two, we have to understand, okay, so I tried gaming, and some of those things, or some of the past channels that I've had with different games, you know, don't really fulfill me, right? And so fulfillment, I think, is a super important part of like doing something. So if you're not fulfilled in what you're doing, you're probably not going to do it long term, and or you shouldn't. And then there's another side that's like maybe another reason not to quit is that things are very difficult, or it's very hard, or it takes up a lot of time, right? But again, if the why is because I want to support my family, because it brings me value, because I get a bit of happiness that comes through me when I'm doing these things, maybe that's worth it, right? If this makes me happy, if this brings me value, if this allows me to express myself in a certain way, if this allows me to inspire others to get better, then I think that there's a big reason to continue to do that. And on this channel specifically, I think the reason that I really anticipate doing this for a super long time is because it allows me to reflect, which is so big. And we've talked about this in a lot of other videos. If you are new, or this is your first video that you're watching, this helps me get better, right? And the goal with this is for me to understand who I am, what I'm trying to do, and where I'm trying to go. So that's a big piece. The other thing is, it's really fun to see positive comments about, oh, you know, I never thought about it this way, or I really appreciated this perspective, or This was a video I didn't think I needed, but I'm so glad I clicked on it, right? And if I can inspire others or help others come to some of your own conclusions, I think ultimately that's super fulfilling for me as well. I think it's nice for me to understand myself, which is something that I wanted to achieve. And so yes, is it hard to post videos every day? Yes. Is there a discipline aspect of that where it's, I want to make each one of these videos better, and I want to make each one of these videos every single day. So I want to be locked in and disciplined on working for myself, and I want to help others. And there's a joy factor in learning who I am and just being able to express myself. And so that's why I do this channel. And I think that if you're looking at you doing something, what is the purpose, right? If we look at Boulder football, for example, that's just something I'm watching and really dedicated into. These boys are doing it for maybe their family, right? Or, you know, the idea of being able to be a professional, to support themselves, and to take a childhood dream all of the way. And if you continue to find happiness in it, now you don't necessarily need to be happy every single day. Like, editing these videos isn't always the most fun, but again, it's the full package, that there's always going to be a few things that are a little bit less enjoyable, but we have to do those things to be able to achieve our whole goal, which is to reach a larger audience, to be able to be a successful YouTuber, right? To be able to do this as a full-time job is a metric of success for me. Now, ultimately, is that going to stop, you know, short? And the answer is not, if I continue to enjoy just building and growing myself. So there is a few different angles of it, but I think if you're doing something exclusively for the fact that you want to beat your friend, or the fact that you want to be this or that, but it's something that isn't within your actual core values and doesn't make you feel beneficial, it's probably not worth it, right? And sometimes we have to take a step backwards anyway and come from a different angle, right? You also see in positions like in football where somebody starts as a quarterback, right? And maybe they've developed or changed into being a better wide receiver, right? Or some linebacker ends up becoming a running back. Like, you can, sometimes it's about finding the right fit in certain areas, or certain positions might not be for you. It doesn't mean that you're quitting everything, right? So I've had other channels. I want to be successful on YouTube. That doesn't mean that I have to do the same channel forever. If that channel's not working, or that angle of the content that I'm producing doesn't fulfill me, maybe it's not a bad idea just to do something else, even though the goal is we're going to do this and we want to be fulfilled in the work that we're doing. Maybe through gaming it isn't it. Maybe through a reaction channel isn't it. And it's not always about getting to the goal as easy as possible, right? We don't want it to be super simple. We want it to be, and when we're making a goal and when we want to achieve something, it should align with our values, and it should align with what we want to be, and that's how you should indicate whether something's worth keeping or not.